Hello everybody, what's going on? Welcome to the channel. As you can see today, I'm riding 675SR once again because this is my bike. But today we're gonna go to the place where I'll rent 500 Voom, and we're gonna compare these two. This bike is fast, this bike is pretty maneuverable, this bike is really good. Quality wise, it has zero problems. It's a very good machine. The only complaint of mine is that the competition in China is so stiff, so it's not the fastest, it's not the lightest, and it's not the most maneuverable. But overall, the quality, fit and finish of this bike is just incredible. But again, we'll see in a second how this bike compares to 500SR. Let's get to the place and I'll see you in a second. Alright guys, so here it is, 500 Voom. Let's hop on the bike. Just want to see how it feels after 675. Well, it's a little different. You know what? I feel like the seat is a little bit lower, right? Weight-wise, it's very similar, but simultaneously there's one thing I need to mention. As you can see guys, we have those crush bars which aren't very light. They weigh maybe, I don't know, 10 kilograms. Alright. Yeah, this is way more comfortable, honestly speaking. And it sounds better guys. I feel like inline 4 sounds better than inline 3, at least among CF motos. Clutch is softer, by the way. Okay, we have some play in the throttle, which you don't like. Again, we can adjust it if you want, no problem. Yeah, it's not as nimble actually compared to 675. We have a quick shifter, pretty cool. Oh, you know what? Brakes are better, guys. They're a little bit sharper. I said it before. These calipers, they do not come from Dragy, and initially I was very skeptical because I was thinking that Dragy is the king, if I do not take into account Brembo. But apparently these CF Moto calipers, they're a little bit better. ABS is less intrusive, and they just feel much sharper. You do not have to squeeze the front lever as much. The bottom and torque is way worse. You need to rev it up much more, which is super obvious, so it's not new information. It's very comfortable, and you do not have to lean forward like on 675. Way less pressure on your wrist and your lower back. So comfort-wise, this bike is better. The cockpit feels very different, even though materials are very similar. Dash is just the same. 675 shows you the tire pressure. This one shows you RPM graph, which is pretty cool. By the way, I feel like this bike is a little bit less stable compared to 675, partially because of the wind. So the wind exposure is a little bit greater on this bike because of the windshield. Actually, it's really easy to flick around, but I would still say that 675 is a little bit more flickable, but this bike would be way more comfortable, and yeah, I just feel really good riding in the city. But power delivery wise, of course, this bike would be less appropriate for a city, just because you have to rev it up all the way up to 8,000 RPMs to feel the power. This is where power hides. On 675, power is way more linear, available everywhere. The only thing is that I don't like the rev limiter on this bike. You can rev it up all the way up to 15 plus K, so it's really cool. But the throttle actually is a little bit better. The throttle is a little bit better on 675 because it's a little bit more predictable. What I mean by that is on 675, throttle behaves very predictably, and you know exactly what to expect through the whole range of motion. On this bike, throttle is super smooth and extremely pleasant 90% of the motion, 90% of the range of the motion. But then in the very bottom, the engine braking feels a little bit too abrupt, so it slows down very predictably and linearly all the way up to, I don't know, 4K, and then suddenly bike stops. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't, so you don't really know ahead of time what to expect. And if I'm being honest, it spoils a little bit the experience of riding, so this is something I would change. But it might be because of this play in the throttle, which is adjustable. We can adjust it. But I don't remember to have the same problem 675. And brakes, as I've said, are very similar, but it's easier to do stoppies on this bad boy, much easier, so ABS is less intrusive. Alright guys, this is not my bike, I'm not gonna do any wheelies. Actually, you know what, I would say that for wheelies, clutch of wheelies, this might be a little bit more approachable because the power is not as overwhelming, and 49 Nm of torque in the first gear feel better than 70 because it's just easier to manage. But if you want to do some power wheelies, I feel like it will be very difficult to do on this bike. So power wheelies wise, 675 is going to be better. Stoppy. Just now I spent 20 minutes getting to the place, riding this beautiful Voom 500 SR. I'll tell you guys that it sounds amazing. However, there's one thing I need to tell you about. This bike has an amazing engine sound, but there's also some buzzing coming from different parts of the bike, and in this regard 675 would be way better. 675 has zero buzzing, zero vibrations, but if we're talking about the visual aspect, I will tell you guys that this bike looks better than 675. The attention to details / materials on Voom 500 is better. The plastic over here looks a little bit better. It's shiny, but simultaneously it looks kind of not too expensive, not too luxury, but given the design, it suits this bike really well. And if you just compare it to bikes next to each other, I would tell you that this bike looks more luxury, more elegant, more expensive. I really like those exhaust pipes, they look absolutely incredible. But with this beautiful design comes additional weight. Even though this bike is 194 kilograms according to CF Moto, but given that we are down in power, we are down in torque, this bike could be much lighter than this. Comfort wise, these are two different bikes. This is pretty much like a naked bike. Clip-ons feel like handlebars. You are very, very up straight. You don't have to lean forward to reach for the bars. So comfort-wise, this bike is better. Sound-wise, this bike is better. Brakes-wise, this bike is better. But in all the other aspects like speed, vibrations, smoothness, and performance in general, 675 takes the crown. It's undeniable that this bike looks absolutely incredible, and this retro design is something something I cherish a lot. I really like those headlights. Yeah guys, as I've said many times over, this is the place where I'm gonna hop in the bike. I'll pull out my Dragy and let's see what the acceleration looks like. 0 to 100, 0 to 150 kilometers per hour. Hope everything goes well. Well, 493, which is pretty good. The best acceleration I found online was 4.1 seconds, and sub 5 seconds is a good result. Alright, so 0 to 150 was 9.56 seconds. This unique experience of launching the bike is not for everybody, guys. I'm not joking. So you need to have special skills for bikes like that. Alright, let's do it one more time. One more time and we go home. I don't really want to launch this bike many times because I've been told that the clutch was slipped, and the clutch probably is the most fragile part of the bike so far, and I don't really want to make the same mistake, or should I say I don't want to break it again. Oh, I don't want to pay for anything. Alright, dude, one more time. Let's try to do a stoppie. Ready? Dude, like, that was a pretty high stoppie actually. I don't know whether you felt it or not, but it was a very high stoppie. Whew, okay, ready? Let's try. Honestly, I didn't know what happened because my launch was very good, but then as I was upshifting, did you feel that? Did you see that? Something happened and the bike just did not accelerate, even though I was opening the throttle as always. Shoot. Okay, one more time, guys. One last time. 0 to 150. Ready? Well, it wasn't bad. Wow, 9 seconds flat. 4.55 seconds. Oh, dude, I did a good job. I did a good job. That's all. That's enough. I didn't expect myself to be that fast. I feel like based on dragging my acceleration from 0 to 150, we're moving uphill, by the way, was better than my best acceleration so far. This bike is still pretty dynamic. The only thing is that you really need to get accustomed to this machine. You need to understand how to launch it properly. You need to get used to it, and it takes some time. If you really want something which would be very easy to launch, 675 is going to be better 100%. Comfort-wise, this bike is better. Power delivery-wise, 675 is better for a city. And 675 just feels faster, more fun, more agile, more flickable, but way more aggressive, and you have to exert so much freaking effort in order to ride it for a long time. You'll be very tired. Your wrists, your lower back is going to feel tired a lot. But guys, overall, these two bikes are really incredible. I really like them. Fit and finish on both bikes is incredible. They look and feel very elegant, very good, very well built. If you're looking for the best performance, obviously 675 is better. If you're looking for the best brakes, this would be a little bit better than 675. If you are looking for the smoothest performance, the smoothest machine, look no further than 675SR. Yeah, guys. After 500SR, this bike feels alert. It feels ready to go. It's way more fun. Feels faster. Power delivery is way more linear. It's just way more fun. The bike feels more composed. 675 is more aggressive in every way. Everything is a little bit stiffer. The clutch, the brake lever, the suspension, everything is a little bit more sport oriented. Brakes are actually very similar, I would say. You know what? I would actually take it back. I would say that the brake lever on 675SR is way more predictable. The only thing I don't like about this bike is that ABS is intrusive. It's very difficult to do stoppies. But other than that, when you just casually ride and slow down, I would say that the brake lever on 675 is more predictable. On 500SR, brakes feel sharper, more abrupt, easy to do stoppies, but the brake lever doesn't feel very consistent, doesn't feel very predictable, just like the throttle. So the throttle and the brake lever on 675 feels way more predictable, and it's just way more pleasant to operate because it never catches you off guard. I need to say that the rev limiter is something I do not appreciate on 675, and this is something which 500SR does really well. You don't have to think about that. You can rev it up all the way up to, I don't know, 15 plus 1,000 RPMs. So yeah, guys, these two bikes are really awesome. As I've said, I still feel like 675 would be better. It's more ready to go. It's just more fun, and I will still choose 675. But sound, brakes, comfort, fuel consumption is better on this bike. Yeah, guys, this was my humble review. Tell me what you think about these two bikes. Which bike would you choose? Are they even available in your country? Let me know everything in the comment section below. If you like the video, hit like button, subscribe to my channel if you haven't, and as always, I'll see you in my next videos. Bye bye everybody, take care.